Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crypto News Podcast. It's your host, Matt Zahab. We are buzzing as always. And folks, we got one of the hottest people in crypto coming on right now. And me and this lad have the exact same hair when I'm not wearing a chapeau. We got the nice little mullet / afro. The ladies absolutely love it. And he's Muzzy Gang as well. This guy's an absolute problem and we love to see it. We got the one and only Rushi Manche on the show today, co-founder of Movement Labs, a pioneering engineer and visionary architect behind Movement Labs' groundbreaking tech. Folks, they just launched their token. You guys know what it is. It is Move. It is absolutely everywhere. Normally we would go through the whole bio, but we are a little tight for time, so we are going to jump right into it. But I cannot wait for this one. Rushi, how are you, my friend? Bright and early for you this morning. How's everything going?
It's good. I was having internet issues, so I was keeping Matt waiting for a little bit, but we're riding. It's been an eventful past few days, which I'm sure we're going to get into, but super stoked and high energy all around today.
I love it. Couple coffees down the chute, I assume? They're just adrenaline.
Couple Celsiuses, maybe a little bit over the caffeine overdose today, but we're riding.
I love it. Let's jump right into it. That was the launch of Move. And for the listeners who don't know what Move is, I'm sure everyone does. One of the hottest tokens out right now. This was cooking up for, I believe, 18 months. You guys just went on a masterclass of fundraising. I want to say it was, 18 months all in with fundraising, 45 million private funding. You guys have 60 live apps on testnet, 2,000 plus hackathon attendees, 150 million TVL already. That's absolutely bananas. 1 million active addresses, over 50 regional active movement groups. And the coin just launched, went parabolic as everyone thought it would. Dude, walk me through it. How bananas was it? What did you learn? What do you wish you did differently? Give me the whole story. Give me the goods. How crazy was the launch?
So first of all, nothing was expected. Internally, we're just like, we don't know what's going to happen. And the war room for the past 4 days was, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't really have clarity on how launch goes, how community members react. With any token launch, there's usually 3 major factors. Airdrop, there's distribution, which is exchanges, market makers, etc. And there's sentiment. And I think recently, a lot of launches have messed up 1 or 2 of those, which often leads to a bad outcome. I think, and knock on wood, it's too early to call it, but we did our best to nail all 3. And to that regard, I think it's...
Can you give me those one more time? Just so everyone can hear this, because I absolutely love this.
Airdrop is the first one.
Yep.
Launch, which is exchanges, market makers, etc. And sentiment, which is just CT sentiment, community sentiment, internal sentiment, external sentiment, private investors, public investors. That's a whole trifecta that you have to nail. I think Hyperliquid did this really well, and that was probably
100%.
Where they had really good product, really good sentiment because people the token went up, and a really good launch strategy in that the exchanges, because they were the exchange, right? And I think like when we launched, that was something that we're aiming to do. Probably for strategy, because obviously we're not purpose techs, we're not.
100%.
We have a little bit different airdrop strategy given. Because Hyperliquid was able to concentrate their users because they know, okay, the top 50,000 traders did X amount of volume, then you can reward those. We had a different situation where we had 4.5 million wallets plus that were participating and involved in testnet. So getting them involved was very, very difficult, and incentivizing people, Silver's existence, and while maintaining kind of proper launch strategy was kind of pinnacle to us. Yeah.
That's it. So walk me through again, like how the heck the one sort of thing, the sentiment you guys absolutely nailed. The airdrop, toughest part about the airdrop is how many coins do you give? If you give too many, everyone dumps because they get the initial profit, coin goes berserk, blah, blah, blah. The launch. I don't think I've ever seen a launch this well for like a non-exchange. You guys how the hell did you get on every single exchange? You were literally on every single tier 1 exchange.
All luck. I think, like, without getting too into the nitty gritty, we got really lucky in kind of our conversations. I think more importantly, like the Move narrative was very attractive. Like we saw Aptos and Sui, 2 leading L1s. There's a lot of sentiment for that. And I think like going back to the origin story, when we started Movement around 2 years ago, everyone said Move is dead. Like we were making the stupid decisions back then. People were like, Move's dead, there's no developers, like this makes no financial sense, like why would you do this? And because there was very, very few people that believed in Move back then, it allowed us to become a category leader in 2 major things: community and ecosystem. And we, like, for context, I built the first DEX in Aptos. My co-founder built the first yield aggregator. We understood from the ground level 2 major things: community members disgruntled by large launches, especially like large VC launches, and ecosystem projects not getting love. So the thesis behind Movement, and we're very pairing with this is like our edge is a technological. Our edge isn't like anything else. Like me and Cooper aren't like the kid like insane quants. So like, we both dropped out of college. We were dirt poor when we started off. It was like probably the most humble story in crypto. I think our edge is we knew what the community wanted. We knew who our community members were, what they needed to be happy, and how we can get them incentivized long term. And what we're observing right now is all the top community members or people who were involved in the community, they were heavily incentivized in the last 72 hours. And we've seen the public reactions. And there's a loyalty that comes from that. Mostly because we recognize that we're nothing with our community and give it to the ecosystem. Where in reality, most launches, especially like these large VC launches, often goes insiders. For example, no investors or team can stake right now, which in the past we've seen large staking allocations, and that leads to insider selling and all this shady stuff. So I think that sentiment has allowed us to kind of win the community members and trust that they trust us now. Like what we've noticed is like majority of community members and ecosystems have delayed their airdrop because they're like, hey, we can really move in long term. We don't need to give a gratification right now. I can get more to that kind of logic that we discussed, but I think overall, like making the community happy was our best decision we did.
I love that. I mean, I had Coop on the pod back in, I want to say it was April or May. It was back in Q2 of this year. And I mean, I'm glad I got in and because again, you have a lot of founders who come on, they do an incredible job, but then you have founders who come on and there's something different. They got a bit of a secret sauce to them. And Coop he just literally couldn't stop beating the community first. All we give a fuck about is the people drum. And like it shows right now. And your point number 3 in regards to the 3 factors of every token launch, like you guys nailed sentiment. It's probably the only industry on the planet where like sentiment matters as much, like in crypto, if you screw sentiment, you're absolutely toast. But I want to go back just for the few listeners that aren't aware. You guys started on Aptos, if I'm correct, back in, 2023? And then you moved over to Move. Like, what was the whole reasoning behind that?
Yeah, I mean, we were builders. So me and Cooper were in college. I went to Vanderbilt. I built a DEX and Aptos. Cooper built like a Yearn yield aggregator fork, which is now called Canopy. And they just raised a big round as well, they're announcing. But again, our thesis was we love Move. We believe in secure, high throughput programming. We love the Aptos technology stack. And we were the first 10 builders in the Move ecosystem, August of 2022. November 2022, FTX collapsed. And we noticed there was a gap in the market in that Move was really powerful. It was a contrarian bet by a long shot. Pretty much every VC had written it off because that was obviously FTX ties and crypto in general post FTX was in the gutter. And that we realized, okay, this is an opportunity for us to make a contrarian bet. The contrarian bet was Move is beautiful. Move is the best language in crypto for blockchains, designed for blockchains. Yeah. But there was 2 major gaps. Liquidity, in that ETH as an asset class was missing in these Move-based languages, which at the time and even today is still one of the most valuable assets in providing programmable liquidity.
Yeah.
And secondly is the fact that there's a nascent community. So Solana, when it launched, was pretty low valuation. People made a lot of money in Solana. Ecosystem was vibrant. In Move, it was lacking in that people didn't really know what apps were being built. People didn't really know what the community was like due to lack of airdrop, FUD, and stuff like that. So there was 2-pronged approach where we observed, hey, if we build a community-first chain that has great tech, that lives on Ethereum for liquidity, we will have an edge. And I don't even mean that in the sense of competing with Aptos and Sui. I actually think we're pretty complementary. I think in generally, the landscape of Ethereum scaling solutions was, oh, okay, we're going to launch another EVL2. But that provides no net impact to the chain in that the Ethereum L1 is limited, Ethereum Layer 2 is limited. You're not able to compete effectively with any alt L1. So our thesis was to bring programmability and high performance to Ethereum. And that's kind of what we built today.
So you guys obviously identify, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying the term, like you identify as, a Move-based L2 on ETH, but like, I almost feel like you guys are sort of more in the L1 space. Like, am I out to lunch there? Would you say that's correct?
Yeah, I mean, you'll see some exciting updates in the next few weeks, but our architecture is actually technically a sidechain, which we used to push back in. They call it L2, but I think recently we've embraced the L1 narrative. First of all, I think the L1, L2 distinctions are stupid. Arguing what Rollup does is, like, if you call me L2, L1, I don't really care. I care about the apps. I've gotten so much Twitter wars, I'm sure the listeners have observed, but I don't really care what you call me. You call me L1, L2. I think as we observe, we probably lean towards more of L1. The best analogy is Polygon POS, where you have state roots and still living on Ethereum liquidity, but you have sentiment testers and validators. So some may argue we're L2, some may argue the L1. It's up in the air. I would say identify more as a Move L1 these days than a ETH L2. I think the ETH L2 narrative is quite cooked and there's not much excitement there. So I prefer to be a move-based blockchain.
Move-based blockchain instead of an ETH L2 or a move-based L2 on ETH. Love it. Market positioning. I hate to be the guy who asked here, but again, just when I spoke to the team and it was like, hey, we got Rushi coming on the pod, everyone was pumped up. I got some questions coming in, listeners, the inbox, blah, blah, blah. Everyone was asking, all right, where do these guys position themselves in the market? Are they in L1? Are they in L2? We just got that out of the water here. You don't give a shit what you're called. You just want incredible apps being built, on Move kind of thing.
Yeah.
In regards to where you stand in the landscape, you just said you're sort of complementary to Sui. Are you a Sui competitor? Are you a super competitor? Are you a Solana competitor? Again, I don't like to sort of push people up against each other and start the whole war thing, but it just helps as, it makes the whole positioning easier in people's minds. Where do you sort of see yourself and position yourself in the whole crypto sort of war kind of thing?
I think first, we intentionally don't compete with anyone. I think it's stupid to compete with other blockchains, and that there's only 50,000 crypto developers in the world. There's more developers at Facebook today than all of crypto. So I think
that's
the fundamental
wild
mistake, the fundamental mistake that we made as an industry is PvP, in that the entire EVM L2 thesis was, okay, there's 10 developers on Arbitrum, and so we're going to take the 10 developers from Arbitrum and focus over it. And I think that's resulted in net loss in kind of growth. So our stance is we'll never pick fights on any chain. If they come for us, I'll fight back, obviously, as you've seen I've done, but we will never go that far. I think if you want to put comps horizontally, I'd say we compete with other ETH scaling solutions. So you have Arbitrum, Scroll, ZK-Sync, but I frankly don't see myself in that regard. Vertically, we have obviously Aptos and Sui, have the two main move blockchains. I think it was actually pretty collaborative. Aptos investor, where you work a lot of ecosystem deals together, and I have nothing but respect for the guys. Sui is one of the best engineering teams on the planet, and again, I think in the past there was move animosity. So our job, I think, is uniting the move tribes and kind of pushing forward this move first future. So yeah, I think if you want answers, that's what's going to be, but you'll never see me competing with anyone else.
I love that. Walk me through Move. A lot of people still don't know about Move. There's a bunch of incredible teams who are building on Move. Give me sort of the TLDR just for the folks at home who don't know Move. Because again, it's still, Rushi, still not a lot of people know about it, unless you're in the weeds like you and I mean, you're way more in the weeds than myself, but unless you're a crypto degenerate, if I polled 1,000 people in Manhattan, I would bet the house that maybe 5 of them would know what Move is, if that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably not even that.
Yeah, not even.
They probably won't even know what crypto is. Maybe they know what Bitcoin is, right? Okay, so let's start backwards. The first ledger was Bitcoin. That Bitcoin script. Then you had Ethereum, which is programmable crypto, which was Solidity. Solidity was designed for the EVM. It wasn't designed as an end-all be-all solution. It was actually designed, if you talk to Nick from Phil, it was designed as a placeholder. People recognized that the EVM wasn't perfect. It had its flaws, its security issues, but it was good enough at the time. Flash forward 7 years today, you've had multiple alt L1s. You've had 80 different programming languages. Most have died. But there's this notion around 5 years ago that Facebook was building a new language. Facebook wanted to have a global payments platform to dominate payments. It wanted to be the PayPal. It wanted to be a Stripe and all these providers and send money from New York to Bangkok using the Facebook app. That was the DM and Libra project. Shut down due to regulation, was very unfortunate, but Aptos we spun out. The thesis was there's a new language called Move that basically we put $1 billion into, designed to be the fastest with parallelization, which is block STM, which we can get into, as most secure with the Move prover, which essentially that's formal verification runtime. So you can think of it like Solana and your favorite auditor combined at runtime. Aptos Sui spun out, 2 L1s, and Move is the third incumbent Move-based blockchain. The thesis was a Move-based language that uses parallelization, which is kind of the main narrative for high throughput execution, and then formal verification, which essentially does runtime checking. So if you have integer leaks, primary safety issues, it checks for those issues at runtime and stops those transactions real time. So kind of where we're at today is the first Move-based solution for Ethereum, where you have ETH liquidity and Move language combined.
So you get the best parts about ETH being the liquidity, and you got the best parts about Move being the super high TPS and all the incredible other stuff it does.
Yes, correct.
That's huge. Moving forward, again, very tight for time here, so we got to rip through this one. You teased me that a couple of big announcements are coming up. Any crazy stuff popping off over the next couple of weeks? And if you can't give me that, which I assume you cannot, what is the plan? What's the game plan for 2025? How are you guys going to divide and conquer? How are you going to grow to make this thing just one of the top 10, top 5, and to my knowledge, your goal is to eventually not take out, but, be in that top 5 spot. How are you guys going to get there?
Yeah. So I think like ultimately the success of the platform is the apps. So the next phase for movement is getting the ecosystem live and vibrant. Because ultimately we're just another blockchain platform. This doesn't exist in the market. What's really unique is our ecosystem today and our community today, where A, we have a strong community that's united in force, and B, we have a very venture-backed ecosystem. We have more ecosystem funding to apps today than the labs entity itself, which means that private investors and public investors are betting on Move being the next big application-based ecosystem, which is keeps us exciting. And like now, my entire focus is using the resources we have today with a successful launch and deploying it and supporting ecosystem builders, whether it's liquidity, whether it's volume, whether it's investments. Essentially, Movement is now accelerator for builders to come and go 0 to 1.
Gotcha. Rushi on a roll here. Got to take a quick break. Huge shout out to our sponsor of the show, and this one's going to be a quick one. Prime XPT. You guys know we love these guys at Prime XPT, as they offer a robust trading system for both beginners and professional traders. Doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a vet, you can easily design and customize your layouts and widgets to best fit your trading style. Prime XPT is also running an exclusive promo for listeners of the Crypto News podcast. Use the promo code CryptoNews50 to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. Again, that is CryptoNews50 to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. And now back to the show with Rushi. One thing that I am curious of, as we've seen this sort of shit show occur many times in the crypto space, is when an incredible team like you guys sort of integrates two distinct ecosystems with sort of the Move ecosystem and the Ethereum ecosystem. How are you guys going to do this? I mean, you've already doing it. You are doing it, but like, how do you do this in a seamless way to ensure that no shit shows occur?
I mean, you can never stop for shit shows. Like, there will be shit shows. Price will go down. Price will go up. Like, that's now the job gets started is kind of the main takeaway, right? I think one thing is not being glued to charts. Like, obviously, like sentiment is price driven, but ultimately, what matters is adoption. What matters is apps being used. So I think like the playbook and go-to-market strategy is now focused on builders. We have the community today. We have this network today. But the bridge between Move and Ethereum needs to be the apps. Because the biggest question everyone's having is like, okay, what does Move uniquely enable? Why Move? Why do we need another competitor to EVM? And the only way we're going to solve that question is from the language being adopted by major applications. The next poly market, which we call Bracket, it's on our platform, should be written in Move. And it is. The future crypto apps need to be written in Move for there to be a reason for Move to exist. So kind of our go-to-market and plan here is just getting them going.
Got it. So the future of crypto apps being built on Move. I love that. Look, we've been buzzing on Move here. A couple more questions and we'll wrap this up, my friend. What other areas of crypto get you going at the moment? You've been so busy, you've probably done literally nothing but be in the war room the last couple of days now that the launch in TGE has been through the roof and successful. AI bots, DeFi, our NFTs back. Any hot takes to give us before we let you go?
I'm looking for a Move to Earn platform right now. I think obviously there's a good pun in the play on words there with Move, but I think like exploring sectors that haven't been touched really like properly and putting ample resources behind that is very interesting to me. So like fitness is like something that America's struggled with, in that there's really no, it's like people don't want to get out of bed or couch. What if there's a world to financially incentivize walking or treadmills or going to the gym, right? And we've seen attempts at that, but there's been no large scale distribution effect. So like people meme me for this, but I'm pretty bullish Move to Earn. I think like if we interact like fitness and crypto economics, kind of gets interesting. That's larger play for deepen and intersection of daily life and crypto, where like for example cooking, like you can create a marketplace for like recipes, right? There's a bunch of like just small niche stuff that doesn't really have market leaders. So I think like what we're entering is like obviously payments can be disrupted by crypto. Obviously like decentralized finance is displacing like centralized authorities, but these things takes time and it'll be probably a decade before crypto payments overlap Visa and MasterCard. But what about smaller markets like fitness? What about smaller markets like education? These are categories that we can break into and hasn't really been explored yet. We've always had like music to earn kind of stuff, but let's spend a lot more time on like these niche use cases where movie can have a direct impact. Because If you want to do payments today, it's probably Solana. And I would recommend Solana because there's USDC that's been Lindy proof. You want to do DeFi today, use Ethereum. But what about the smaller use cases that are consumer first? What about the TikTok first use cases? When's the next Pinterest being built in crypto? And that's kind of what I'm focused on.
And that's, I love that you brought that up. And that's what we need to go mainstream, you know, because it's like the degen stuff can only get you so far. And then the back end infra, payments, you know, Rails, all that kind of stuff, that can only get you so far. But it's more B2B than B2C. And you're going to need a Facebook or a TikTok or a Snapchat or an Insta to really make crypto go mainstream. A little side note to that, I don't know why a government doesn't do this. Like, you know, I'm from Canada, the government of Canada partners with Move. We only have 40 million people. It'd be a hell of a lot easier than the States to do it. If you know, walk 10K steps a day and close your rings on your Apple Watch, you get, I don't know, $5 in Move token or $5 in CAD, whatever the case may be. But like that would incentivize people. And then the burden on the healthcare system drops, you know, GDP per capita goes up. A happy, healthy, wealthy person is just good for society. I don't know why people aren't doing that, but hey, I'd love for you to get that going. Anything else, AI bots, any other weird shit that's getting you going at the moment? You just completely dialed in on Move right now.
Yeah, I was completely moved. I think like AI is very interesting. Like the intersection, like we're working with a team called Axel that does like AI agents. So essentially when you have DeFi actions on chain, you can type in like an LLM, okay, deposit an echelon, which is a learning protocol, swap and Meridian. Having that done with an LLM at a script level, like you just type in text and not have to do DeFi actions is pretty interesting to me.
It executes. Yeah, that's wild.
Executes automatically. So that's what Axel's working on Movement. So working on that. So I think intersection of AI agents and other aspects. So even like we're talking like fitness, right? If you can have an AI agent that monitors your steps and issues credits every time you hit milestones, the intersection of AI and crypto is actually a good point. It's like crypto enables financial access basically to a distributed ledger. AI enables that to be automated. So if you combine that, you can have all actions in real life
be incentivized,
transacted by AI and incentivize backend. Because the biggest issue right now is like wallets, on-ramps, APIs.
Yep.
If you're a normal user, it's like using crypto is a pain in the ass. Like MetaMask sucks, right? But what if you have AI to abstract that away? Then you just have an app. And then you don't really worry about UX. So I think I spend a lot of time with that. It's like if you have AI agents that can automate crypto UX, there's actually no need for solving UX problems.
I love that. Rishi, what an episode. Any news that you can give us before we let you go, my friend? Give us something good. Give us some breaking news on the Crypto News Pod here.
Public meeting coming up soon. Use the moving crypto ecosystem in the coming weeks.
Love it. Folks, what an episode with the one and only Rushi Manche, co-founder of Movement Labs. He was on a roll. Wish he had more time for this one. We will get him a coupon for round 2 in the near future, but we discussed everything Move, and huge congrats to him and the team. That was a truly world-class launch. If you guys enjoyed this one, I hope you did. Please do subscribe. It would mean the world to my team and I. Speaking of the team, love you guys. Thank you so much for everything. And back to the listeners, keep on staying healthy, wealthy, happy, and keep on growing those bags. Love you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Ciao.